Speaker, Dr. Pramod Kumar, and he's going to speak on anatomy of a guide wire. There we go.
Good morning, everybody. I thank the organizers for giving me this opportunity. After having learned about the guiding catheters, next is the guide wires. So can we do an angioplasty without using a guide wire? Yes, this is the early angioplasty done by Andrea Grunzig. At that time, the wire was not there. So what he has done was he has a balloon and a short wire was into it. Actually, this was available in the olden days as a ACE balloon, which had a short wire to lead us into the coronary. So that is how he has done. So he used a blunt closed-end inner balloon catheter with a short guide wire attached to its tip. And the safe crossing of the severe stenosis with this large non-maneuverable catheter was limited. And moreover, with this system, it was impossible to perform independent movement of the wire and the balloon. So then subsequently in 1982, Simpson reported the first experience along with Dornheim and others, a new over-the-wire balloon system. So this has led to some more advancements because when you have a wire and then on that you can advance so many devices, and that has led to so much of newer developments in the interventional cardiology. So it had an independent, movable, flexible tipped guide wire within the balloon dilation catheter. This guide wire could be passed beyond the coronary stenosis, providing a platform for the subsequent delivery of the balloon catheter. The purpose of the guide wire, as you know, is to provide a safe and steerable access to the lesion for the balloon, stent, or other interventional devices. Now, the basic components of the guide wire are one central core, and then outer covering, and then a lubricious coating on that. And each has got its own utility, and we have to know the anatomy because it is important to decide which wire you are going to do for which lesion. But of course, with experience, it looks almost you can cross the lesions with any wire except for chronic total occlusions where there are some dedicated wires, and in some tortuous anatomy where you need to use a hydrophilic wires. But more or less when you are dealing with simple lesions, anywhere in an experienced hand looks okay. So the central core is something like the heart of the wire. It is made of either nitinol, which is an alloy of nickel and titanium. It has got a memory and it has got some change in the conformation with the body temperature. And the other one is a stainless steel. So these two are the heart of the wire. You can say when you say core, it is the heart of the wire. This is important because it allows the pushability of the wire. So it extends from the entire length of the wire. And next you have an outer covering on this. This could be with a coil spring, platinum, tungsten, or stainless steel, or it could be a polymer sleeve or a combination of both. And on this you have an outer lubricious coating, which could be either hydrophilic or it can be hydrophobic like PTFE, Teflon, or a silicone. And you have another thing called tip. So these are the four parts. Briefly I will run through all those things. So central core, as I mentioned, is the inner part or the heart of the guide wire. It extends throughout the shaft of the wire from the proximal to the distal part where it begins to taper. So as you go into the distal bed, it needs to taper. So that is why it is made. And it is the stiffest part of the wire that gives the stability and steerability to the guide wire from its proximal end to the distal tip. The core material affects the flexibility, support, steering, and trackability. These are all the qualities which a wire is assessed of the wire, while its diameter influences the flexibility, support, and torquing of the wire. Now, as I said, they are either of stainless steel or nitinol. Stainless steel is more susceptible to kinking, whereas nitinol is a memory, as I said, and it doesn't kink generally. So when the wire kinks inside, then your tracking of the stent sometimes may be difficult at that point. And these are some of the properties of the stainless steel. It is very torqueable. It can deliver more push because it is steel. And then it allows for a core to tip design. That means from all through the wire, you can place the stainless steel. And nitinol is very pliable, yet it is supportive. And it will not take a set. It will not take a shape. It comes back to the memory. And then the prolapse and other things are less with that. And when you look at the inner core, there are different things. It could be a single barrel where it is made of one barrel uniformly like this, or it could be multi-barrel kind of grind. Single barrel guide wires provide maximum support, trackability, but have least push transmission, that is steerability. They also allow for precise tip control, torqueability, and have excellent tactile feel. They are useful in relatively straightforward lesions, but if you look at the single barrel wires, they also provide a smoother transition because it is all through the same, enhanced torque response and are less prone to tip prolapse than dual core or the multiple layer kind of thing, and may have a lesser tip mobility and provide less support for device delivery. The multi-barrel wires have a better push transmission, and most of the workhorse guide wires in current use have a double barrel construction, and the maximum push transmission can be achieved having a tapered guide wire or having a smooth transition between the core and distal tip. This is called response technology, which is some of the proprietary technologies. Many companies have their own kind of proprietary technologies to facilitate better wire manipulations. And next we look at the outer covering material. There are two of them. One is a polymer sleeve or polymer tip. The other one is a metal coil. So the covering over the ground core wire to maintain consistency of overall diameter, because when you have different kinds of barrels, the diameter should not vary. So therefore there is an overall coating on that. Usually we use 14,000 wire. And the polymer sleeve is known to be very smooth. However, one drawback is you don't have the tactile feeling when you do the angioplasty. And all the wires have a radio opaque segment at the tip, which is also sometimes useful to make the measurement of the lesion length. So usually it is 3 centimeters. And the outer coverings are either stainless steel. It can extend all the way through with a platinum tip coil, or it can be a polymer sleeve platinum coil tip, or it is a polymer sleeve throughout. And then coating types are there. It could be a PTFE, silicone, or a hydrophilic coating. Most wires have PTFE on the proximal end and either silicone or hydrophilic coating at the distal segment. Hydrophilic coating requires hydration. When you put it in the water before you take it out and then start inserting it into the body, it causes to be absorb the moisture and becomes very lubricious. So it becomes slippery, and especially when you are handling it, you should be careful because it can easily track into the subintima, or it can cause dissections, and it can also cause sometimes perforations. So the coatings are like this. PTFE, Teflon is least lubricious. As you go upwards, and the hydrophilic coating is most lubricious. And this is a comparison of the coatings. Hydrophilic is low friction and more trackable, and silicone requires no activation by liquids. It is more stable feel inside the vessel, and the risk of wire movement and dissection or perforation is more with the hydrophilic, whereas with the silicone it is less. But the trackability is less with the silicone coating. Now the most important thing is the tip, that is the fourth component. You can see it is a cutaway view of the distal tip. You can see this is the core. It can extend all the way up to the tip, or there could be a forming ribbon, which I will show you. So the distal end has 30 millimeters of radio opacity, and the tip of the guide wire can be two types. One is a one-piece core or a core to tip design where the core extends all the way to the tip, and second is a two-piece core or a shaping ribbon core where the core stops distal to the tip and then shaping ribbon will add to that. So these are the two examples you can see here. This is a one piece. You can see that core extends all the way up to the tip of the wire, whereas here you can see there is a ribbon here. So it is somewhat more trackable, and you can cross more safely and more atraumatically when you use this kind of two-piece. And the tip of the guide wire is covered by some coils, outer coil design or tip coil design. These two are there. Outer coil design where it covers the distal core of the wire, in the tip coil where it covers only the tip, and there are some platinum coils which cover it, that is a spring tip guide wire or the Balance family of wires from Abbott, and then polymer tip guide wires where the tip is covered with a polymer. Usually the Boston Scientific Choice or PT Graphics, they are polymer coated. They are especially useful for negotiating micro channels. The tip of the guide wire, again one piece tip I have mentioned, and two piece. One piece, these wires have precise steering and tip control, a soft tip to minimize vessel trauma and necessary stiffness for crossing resistant lesions. In the two piece, it results in a very flexible, soft, atraumatic tip with easy shaping and good shape retention. Compared to other designs, these wires have less reliable torque control and higher the likelihood of prolapse. And these are some of the properties, push transmission, torque, which I tried to cover some of the things. And types of guide wires are important. I think the subsequent speakers will give you more practical things. I am just talking about the anatomy. Depending on the tip load, the guide wires are classified into balanced, extra, support, or floppy. I'll just mention the names because subsequent discussion, all these things will be there. The workhorse wires are all these things. And then you have extra support wires and super extra support, some of them. And then floppy wires. And you have CTO wires, a whole range of CTO wires from different companies are there. These are from the Abbott, and these are the Termo CTO wires. I think with that I conclude this topic of the anatomy of the guide wire. Thank you very much.